All right, so we have one of our absolutely incredible inner circle clients, Eli Grelecki here. Eli, do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe talk a little bit about what you do, and let's dive into that.
Yeah, of course. My name's Eli, and I run a website called Skyview Trading, where we teach people how to trade stock options. We're kind of a hybrid, like fintech, also, basically full service education site. Yeah, and we're subscription based, and teach people benefits of trading options.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what I would love to hear is that big, breakthrough that you've had. I know one of the big ones right now is our omnipresent retargeting in addition to the YouTube ads. We actually did a testimonial with you. It might even be like a year ago now. You're
more than that, I
a
think.
long-standing client for a long time, building things up. I'm glad we have some time to do like an update here. And but maybe you could talk about some of the biggest breakthroughs, actually maybe YouTube ads in general, and then our omnipresent retargeting in the inner circle, what some of the biggest breakthroughs have been since that last, testimonial as well.
Yeah. So I think moving from the, just being a client to moving to that inner circle several years ago was such a game changer for us, because it allowed us to have a little more time with you and your team, and a little bit more depth on some certain topics that kind of were game changers for our business. But in the last few months, the number one game changer has been the omnipresent retargeting, because as you've preached before, and as you show, being in front of people, you don't know when people are going to have that spark of, when they want to buy, when are they ready? And for us, it's like if somebody sees us and discovers us, the chance of them buying is really, really low. So, it's like you can look at whatever data you want, but it's like the people that are going to sign up and that spend the most money, they're going to be the people who have built a relationship with you and have built trust with you. And it's one of those things like, like mass branding, Pepsi, Coke, all those guys are like, we want people to see our name and our product like 7 times a day or whatever it is, and for us, it was like, we're spending the least amount on acquiring a new customer when we're staying in front of them every day. So it's like, they're watching YouTube and we're there. They're on Facebook and we're there. And they may get sick of us. And that they may be, one of the small percentage of people who are like, whatever, I'm just gonna, forget about it. But for the people who are like, they watch a video of ours and they may forget about us. And then a week later, there's a, hey, you watch this video, come on in and check out this more content, or come to our site. Or it's like, if YouTube or the Google Pixel knows that you visited the checkout page, well, now you're going to get dropped into a certain other campaign that's kind of is more inviting. And over a while, people start to just build trust with you and with your brand because they're seeing you so often. And that has been hands down the biggest game changer that we've had in several years of advertising. So it's been awesome, and good job putting that together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so exciting. And that's why I was excited to, kind of document some of this as well, because, it has been in the last few months that we've been rolling out the omnipresent targeting here, at least at the time of filming this. And just to show that that's been, in addition to the YouTube ads top of funnel, the omnipresent retargeting everywhere else has been the secret sauce to our growth. That's what we're sharing with you guys. Yep. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about what that means for your business, because it is a little bit, different. There might also be people watching this too who think about, your type of business that are, in the kind of more of the SaaS, kind of info kind of style, membership site. Maybe you could describe a little bit of what your funnel looks like and how you're implementing this. And then also the other people who are high ticket watching this as well, just imagine these numbers, some of this stuff multiplied for high ticket too. And obviously you're building some of that too, but maybe you can describe what that funnel looks like and how you've built that out.
Yeah, of course. And without getting too complex or anything on this topic, overall, what retargeting does for you and for advertising for your business is it's going to take advantage of the people who are ready to buy, and you're going to be right there when they're ready to buy. And for us, what that meant was our cost per acquisition for a paying customer is essentially cut in half. I mean, it's like, it's people who became a lead for $10 and are ready to buy, and they're half the cost of everybody else because of the brand recognition and the trust and the relationship that's been built along the way. And what our funnel is it's opt into a video course, a video series, and then to a kind of a low barrier to entry trial. And it gets a little sticky there with subscription businesses, but at the end of the day, the numbers that matter the most are the cost per acquisition, the stick rate, and the lifetime value. So for us, when we know, roughly what our LTV is, like, that how much you can spend to acquire a customer. And with retargeting, when you're spending half the amount that you would normally, that funnel and that's going to be profitable for your business. So it's like, one of the things for us is retargeting is the most important piece in that. So it's, with everything that you're teaching and everything that you're showing in the inner circle, that's all stuff that we have implemented, and we're just seeing, crazy results with. So.
Absolutely. And I love it. And one thing that I love to hear too, with cutting that in half, is I remember the last testimonial we did, and this was, this might have even been 2 years ago, because, you've been a client for a long time, implementing YouTube, now the omnipresent retargeting. I remember you said back then that YouTube ads had cut your acquisition costs from Facebook in half. Yep. And now what it sounds like is, obviously you have that still going on YouTube, going strong, but now, is this correct? You've now cut that YouTube cost per acquisition in half again, just by implementing this omnipresent retargeting.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's like, it's a cheat code almost, it's like, it's stuff that advertisers have potentially been doing behind the scenes for a long time, but it's like, you're just kind of exposing what is working and what is, like, the actual blueprint on how to implement it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's cold traffic ask anybody that advertises, cold traffic is going to be higher because people are, like, instantly skeptical, they instantly don't trust you, but it's that retargeting that's building that brand and that trust behind the scenes. So it's like, yeah, you can start to chip away at those cost per acquisitions. And it's like, what you've done is you not only have provided, like, a course on, or a blueprint on how to implement it. What you've done is worked with me on how to, hey, maybe this campaign should be geared towards just getting more clicks, maybe getting more views. And we've kind of, fine-tuned that to just make it run super smooth. And there's no one answer fits all, but it's like, that's the point of your inner circle, right? Is to get that kind of that hands-on service. And so, yeah, now everything's just running smooth, and we're at a stage in business and in the inner circle where we're just testing new things and trying to beat that, add something else to the flywheel. So.
And that's exactly what I love in the inner circle. And I'll have you in just a second kind of speak to that inner circle. People might be thinking about that as the next step. But one more question before we get to that, that I had, is really the impact that this has on you, because I know we've talked about this. I've been investing in real estate. You've been investing in real estate with some of the, obviously, the money that you get from the business. Like, what has been the impact in your life from, last couple of years working with us at AdOutreach, with YouTube ads, now with omnipresent retargeting? What does that impact look like?
I mean, it all depends on how you quantify it, right? Because for me, being able to work close with you for the last, couple years has allowed me to keep up on certain things that are working. Like you guys are in it all day. You know what's working, what's not. You're discovering things and you're sharing it with us. And to quantify that it could mean millions of dollars for myself and my business, So it's like, yeah, somebody might come in and they might be like, this has helped me achieve X or whatever it is. For me, it's about the long game. It's about the stuff that's business is changing. Advertising is changing. The ways that you acquire customers and the ways that you sell to people and speak to people is all changing. But, when you can be in a group of people who are like, hey, this is working and this is working, and you can implement that in your own business, that to me could mean, like I said, millions and millions of dollars down the line. So it's looking at it, and that may seem like people might be like, oh, wow, but it's the truth. I mean, it could mean very, very large things, not only, money wise, but, relationships and everything down the line. So.
Absolutely. And it's what I love to see as well is all of the growth and building things up. And now with the OmniPresent retargeting, it's that next iteration, because that's what I've learned worked for me. And I'm not just going to, obviously YouTube is what I preach, but OmniPresent retargeting is going into everywhere, every platform in front of those ideal people. Yep. And, like you said, cutting the cost again in half with that. So what would you tell the person who's watching right now, who's actually maybe gone through the regular AdOutreach YouTube ads program, and they're thinking about the inner circle, but maybe they're talking to themselves, they're thinking, well, I've learned YouTube, I've implemented this, but how I mean, and it's going, really well, or whatever, specific results that they've had, like, maybe they're wondering, what is omnipresent retargeting? Will that work for me? What is the inner circle? Obviously, you've been an inner circle client now for 2 years. Yeah. What would you say to that person who's watching, who is maybe on the fence, or they're thinking about upgrading into the inner circle, or doing the omnipresent retargeting? What would you say to that person?
I would say that I just don't see how you wouldn't get the value out of what you're paying to be in the inner circle. I was so into this inner circle, and I think I joined before we even had the inner circle calls. So I mean, I've been in it for a while, but for me, it's like I asked basically Aleric how I could stay in this program. I don't see that there's any way that I'm leaving, because like I said, what works today might not work next year. And so like, I am always, if you come in and you leave, you're probably going to come back. That's just how it is. I mean, you want to be around people who are experimenting, who are working in it every single day. And, as a business owner, sometimes I just don't have the time to be in it every single day. I am, because that's the role that I play right now. But like, what I mean is, it's so nice to have guys like Aleric and his team who are just like constantly in tune with the market and things. Like, last year I didn't know what omnipresent retargeting was. I just knew that, hey, maybe I could just run an ad to somebody who's been to a checkout page. Well, I've been missing out on so much revenue because of not implementing this sooner. And if I was on my own, how would I have found that out? And I can't put a price on what I've learned. It's just way higher than what I'm paying to be in the inner circle. So it's, again, a lot of this might sound cliche, but I'm being completely honest. You and I are friends.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest. I'm such a fan. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's worth it. I think that anybody who joins, they're going to see the amount of hands-on that you get, and the amount of just insight and professionalism. And I think it's worth it. I mean, you're going to make your money back, whether it's saving it from mistakes or discovering how you can 2x your revenue. For us, I've made so many mistakes on my own. that have already that have probably totaled more than what I've paid to be in this group. So that's what I have to say.
Absolutely. And it's just so incredible, seeing the growth, being able to be a part of it each step of the way. And now with the omnipresent retargeting, this is, what I love and why I wanted to hop on here is just we can share that with more people who've become clients, implemented YouTube ads. Now they implement this. This is the next logical step. I didn't want the inner circle to just be, the continuation of YouTube ads. And obviously there's so much value there. And you had that for, a couple of years, right? Before we added the omnipresent retargeting, but now we're adding this other side. And that's why I was so excited. So any final thoughts that you have here as we just wrap up this interview, or any final words that you would say on AdOutreach, omnipresent retargeting, everything that you've done over the last couple of years here?
Man, we've covered a lot. But the final thing that I would say is just thank you for all the hard work that you put in, not only for me, but for all the other inner circle clients. And I think that, some of the stuff that you're teaching and some of the stuff that everybody's learning from you is just incredibly, incredibly valuable stuff. And like I've said a few times, it's hard to quantify exactly what that's worth, but I know that it's a large sum of money and time. And with me, time is worth a lot to me as well. And it's nice to know that anytime I need support, I can just reach out to your support, and shout out to all your support people as well. I mean, I've exchanged several emails with Julia, and the last exchange that I've had with her was asking her for help on how to set up my Google Calendar to see all my teams and stuff. So it's like, it goes beyond just YouTube ads. You're sharing stuff about your business. I remember a couple of times you've shared what your pipeline looks like. You've shared how your calendars are set up. You've shared how you book things. Like it goes way beyond just ads. You're almost like a full service with business as well. And that's, like I said, I mean, I've learned things that have paid for my costs for the inner circle for a long time. So thank you for that. And thank you to your team.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. It really, really means a lot. And I'm just excited for, these are the last 2 years. I'm excited for what, the next 2 years and beyond has in store. There's so much more to go from here. And I'm excited. So thank you so much again for hopping on, Eli.
Absolutely, man.